Real Madrid lose to Levante and lose second spot, Jules. It's 1 win in 5 in all competitions, which is why we buried this in quick hits because of our pro-Zinedine Zidane agenda, right?
Yeah, well, Zinedine Zidane, who's not there because obviously he's got COVID. So
he's blameless.
It was David Bertoni again. Listen, it's not all his fault, but he's obviously part to blame. But this is a squad that clearly doesn't have the depth that a club like Real Madrid should have. Although Vinicius should still do better than what he did, and then Militao should not be sent off after 10 minutes. And in the end, it's just not enough. I don't know if Zidane can rescue this and sort of revitalize this squad. But please, make some changes, try different things.
Like, honestly, there's one thing I'm looking forward to. That's one of the benefits of this global crisis in money and whatnot in football is we're not going to get Eder Militao situations where this guy is a creation of the same group of agents in the same clubs, and he moves for a ton of money. And you know exactly what happened. You know why he got sent. It was was it a soft red card? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But he said, "Oh look, I'm not Real Madrid. I'm playing." Sergio Ramos wouldn't get sent off for this. And now I'm not
Sergio Ramos.
Well, yeah. Look. By the way, I think it's 5 defeats this season without Sergio Ramos. You see him on the bench with his big beard and underneath the mask. Dude needs to come back. Let's hope he gets fit. That can change.
But it's really worrying.
It is worrying.
It is. Mo Salah scores twice as Liverpool beat West Ham 3-1 away from home. Gab, he hadn't scored a league goal since before Christmas, 6 games in a row in the Premier League, and yet he's still top goal scorer.
Yeah, I don't know what it says. That's another one of these quirks of this season. But man, I know you're the Techers guy. Liverpool, I thought, were pretty crummy in the first half. In the second half, they came alive.
Yeah.
2 phenomenal goals. Which one was better?
Oh, it has to be the second one.
Has to be?
Because I think Cresswell is too soft on the first goal, letting Salah doing what he does, and you know he's not going to shoot with his right, so show him the right foot instead of the left foot.
The second one, he kills it out of the air and the pass from Shaqiri.
The first touch, it's not as good as I saw some people comparing it with Bergkamp in the 98 World Cup against Argentina. It's not that good.
Easy there.
But it's still very good and great counter-attack again. What they do so well.
Liverpool are getting some help at the back. Jules, it's the other Ben Davies, who I'd never heard of because I don't watch the lower divisions of England.
But for the people who watch the Championship, he's been really good with Preston. He's 25. He's left-footed, which what they wanted. They were linked
like the other Ben Davies.
Yeah, like the other Ben Davies. He's got good quality in his passing. Doesn't make many fouls. Doesn't lose the ball many often. I think he ticked a lot of the statistic boxes that Michael Edwards had. Listen, they've got no money.
He's a body. He's a body.
Yeah, 2 million pounds. But he's better than Phillips and Rhys Williams, right? So I think it'd be interesting to see what he does there. Zlatan Ibrahimovic misses a penalty for the 3rd time this season. Franck Kessié takes another one and doesn't miss. And Milan hang on to beat Bologna 2-1 with Gigi Donnarumma being pretty good in goal. Gab, is this time for somebody to tell the big man that maybe just let the spot kicks to other people?
I don't understand this because people watch it like, well, who's going to tell Zlatan he's not allowed to take? Hey, Zlatan is a professional footballer. You have a whole team around. You have a coach. He's going to do what the coach tells him to do. I would hope that Zlatan himself would be like, hey, look, maybe this guy's better taking penalties than I am. And then you can move on. But it is a big win for Milan. What would worry me a little bit is at the end, you're 2-0 up, they're cruising, they give up a goal. Donnarumma had to make a big save at the end. I think Pioli got it wrong. He sent on Mandzukic. And then all of a sudden you had Mandzukic and Ibra on the pitch at the same time.
It didn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. You can't play on the counter, right? But until that point, until they conceded that goal, I thought Milan played really well.
They were good.
Luis Suarez scores a spectacular free kick, and Atletico Madrid win a wild game against Cadiz 4-2. Jules, 10 points clear and a game in hand. What can possibly go wrong?
Not much, Gav. I'm sorry. And you know what? What strikes me is that they can still improve so much in playing from the back, in the build-up play, on set pieces, both offensively and defensively. They can still be so much better than what they are now. They have 50 points after 19 games, so they're on for a 100-point season, which
That's unbelievable.
Which only Real Madrid and Barcelona have done in 2011, 2012.
And they've only done it once.
Yeah, and I think Atletico, I looked, was 90 points, which would be incredible if they smashed that record. So well done to them and to Luis Suarez, who keep walking on that league.
And the gift from Barcelona that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Bayern stomped all over Hoffenheim 4-1. Gab, this was more than just a game, right?
Well,
it was revenge.
It was revenge because on September 27th, Hoffenheim had beaten them 4-1. And after that set into motion a bunch of things because they signed like 4 guys before the end of the transfer window. I thought what was interesting here was Marc Roca started in midfield, his first Bundesliga start. And he looked really good because
I liked him
he can actually
too.
pass the ball.
Yeah.
And look, Kimmich is in his own category, but when it comes to central midfielders, I think Roca is slightly, and I say this in, with perspective, slightly filling the shoes of Thiago Alcantara.
Yeah.
In the sense, in certain games, you have a ton of possession, have that guy who can pass in there. Nothing wrong with that.
And
hopefully.
with Goretzka out with COVID, it was potentially like, okay, in midfield where they could have been a bit lightweight, and I thought he
takes pressure off of Kimmich.
And Coco Tolisso, obviously, as the COVID idiot of the week, having a tattoo done during pretty much the lockdown in Germany, which is completely stupid with no mask as well, having a video out showing it. I mean, come on.
It would have been good. When I saw it, I thought, like, look, is the tattoo artist must be the guy that he bubbles with, must be his roommate, and so it's okay.
Or his brother.
Exactly.
But no, he wasn't.
Manchester City beat Sheffield United 1-0, and their lead is 3 points with a game in hand. They've won every game they've played in all competitions since mid-December. Jules, what impresses me most is that since November 21st, when they lost to Spurs 2-0, in the Premier League, they've only given up 2 goals. Now, one was an own goal against West Brom, and the other was Callum Hudson-Odoi's goal in garbage time against Chelsea.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
It is, and you know what? And you love your stats is that they don't even concede many chances. So it's not like if every team had like 5 clear chances, didn't score for whatever reason. It's that they actually don't concede much.
The expected goals say should have been about 5.5. So they're outperforming that a little bit, but still,
it's
very
really
impressive.
And even when you take John Stones out and you put Laporte, they're still very solid. No Cancelo. They control that game, manage that game really well. Thomas Tuchel says he's keeping an open mind about his players, Gab, and that he showed it with a bunch of changes compared to the Wolves game for the Burnley game in his first win, 2-0 win at home as well. I bet you were not expecting to see Marcos Alonso starting and scoring that kind of goal.
Oh, unbelievable goal. Azpilicueta's goal. That probably wasn't even the best goal scored by a Spanish fullback in the game, to be fair. But no, look, this is what Tuchel's being smart. Tuchel's saying, look, what happened before with Frank happened before. Marcos Alonso is an asset, especially as a wing back. He's very awkward because he's got size and physicality and quality, so maybe he's not super quick. It's an alternative. It keeps Chile on his toes. We've had Don Hutchin come on like, Chilwell's good. Emerson, not good enough. Alonso, not good enough. I hate those. Not good enough. It's a stupid thing to say. I mean, not having it go. But you know what I mean, right?
Of course.
So keep it open. We're seeing that 3-4-2-1, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I think that has legs in it. He's giving Werner a chance playing off a striker.
But there's a time you agree that there's a time where you have to settle.
At some point, it's got to come together. No argument about it. Paris Saint-Germain contrived to lose to Lorient, who are second bottom, despite the fact that Neymar converts 2 penalties. Jules, they're back down to third.
It was bad. That's all I've got to say. It was so bad. It made me so angry. They just had nothing, no creativity. And I don't want the excuse of no Navas, no Verratti, no Marquinhos. I don't care. They were bad. That was terrible. Antonio Conte is suspended, so Christian Eriksen sneaks onto the pitch from the back door and plays a deep-lying playmaker role, and he's amazing. Inter won 4-0. And Gab, we will remember this as a turning point in his career, even if he was only against Benevento?
In his Inter-career, possibly, if Conte decides that, hey, look, he can do it. I'm not sure he will. I kind of think this is a bit of a blip. Supporters stormed Marseille's training ground on Saturday, forcing the postponement of their game against Rennes. Marseille's U.S. owner, Frank McCourt, compares it to the rioting at the U.S. Capitol. Jules, who's to blame here?
It's incredible, Gab. I mean, they protested and they attacked their own training ground against the president, Jacques-Henri Hérault, who they think is an absolute tool, and they want to see him out. They're trying to push him out. It was very much a reaction of, this is our club. We own this club. This is us. You will go. Players leave, come and leave. President, owners come and leave, fans are always there. However, this is unacceptable. You can't do things like this. You can't
turn to violence with that.
Juventus beat Sampdoria 2-0. Gab, Pirlo has found his midfield, doesn't it? But is Rodrigo Bentancur a bit over the top when he says that only Iniesta is better than the current Arthur?
You wanted to come up with something that was quotable? Sure. Okay, Rodrigo.
Like the best. Yeah, good.
No, I've never seen anybody better with the ball. Just go watch some Kevin De Bruyne, please. Maybe some David Silva.
Yeah, plenty others.
Maybe old stuff of your manager, Pirlo, and let's just leave it there. No Harry Kane for Tottenham Hotspur, who fall against Brighton 1-0. Jose Mourinho is grumpy. You can understand that, right, Jules?
Why is he grumpy for?
Because they lost and they got outplayed.
Or because he got found out in the sense that, Kane is not playing, so we don't know what to do. There's nothing we can do. There's no game plan. There's no structure.
He had to play Gareth Bale. Come on, man.
He didn't have to play Gareth Bale. He chose to play Gareth Bale. He didn't have to play him. But is he grumpy because he got found out of he worked for a while and he was great, the Son Kane partnership, but that there was nothing else really behind?
Look, I I think in Jose's defense, I say this with a heavy heart. I thought, well, first of all, I thought Brighton played really, really well.
Yeah.
Brighton play well most weeks.
Brighton, who hadn't won at home in 20...
No, that's fine, right?
Okay.
But if football were figure skating and we gave points for performance, then Brighton would be squarely in mid-table. Let's be very clear on that. I don't think it's unreasonable for Jose to say, look, Kane's not there. I play Heung-min Son at center forward. I'm not as good, not as multifaceted, but I get the job done, right? Because Heung-min Son has played center forward before, and he's done it with great success, and he's filled in for Kane before.
Yeah, if you have a plan.
I think the plan involved Bale and Bergwijn, and that didn't come off. And then they had to change the formation.
But how can Bale and Bergwijn link up with Heung-min Son up front?
Just kick the ball into space and let Heung-min Son run onto it.
Since when they do that? That's not what they do. Play and Ndombele higher up the pitch. Okay, thank you very much. And stop with that back three, by the way, because it's not working at all.
Yeah, I don't understand the...
Crazy.
Joe
Why
Rogan,
don't you play Ndombele closer? He would play almost like a Kane, like a number 10 Kane.
Yeah. We gave him a pass because Lo Celso wasn't there. Then we find out Ndombele can do some of the same things that Lo Celso does. And now then he plays him further back. I don't get it.
I just wait. I just want a reaction from him. Who do they play next? Oh, yeah, Chelsea on Thursday night. That's going to be tasty. Leicester City get the Bielsa treatment and lose 3-1 at home to Leeds. Patrick Bamford scores a goal and sets up the other two and says he's in his own fantasy team, but took away the armband for himself, which would have been double points.
Okay, first of all,
this
is twice we've had footballers who, maybe aren't absolute superstars saying something clever or interesting or silly in Bentancur's play, and they make the news. Bamford had a great game.
Fantastic.
It's a system thing too. With he's a smart guy. He knows his limitations. Bielsa, I thought, creates a ton of chances. Yeah. I also don't think, though, by the way, that Leicester were 2 goals worse than Leeds.
No.
And when I look at this, every week that passed, even after this defeat, I can see Leicester finishing, we obviously know Jamie Vardy, I can see Leicester finishing top 4 more and more. And I get myself more convinced of it, even after this game against Leeds, when so many things went.
But Vardy has to come back. He has to come back soon. I mean, even Brandon said it after the game. This is so difficult for them without him. And Jose Perez is a really good player, but he's not Vardy. I'm not even sure he's a centre forward anyway.
No, he's not a centre forward. I think Brendan was kind of putting his excuses in a little bit with Vardy. I don't think he wants a Vardy-dependent team.
Yeah.
Leipzig beat Bayer Leverkusen in a battle to be best of the rest. Jules. Leipzig are 7 points back. Your boy Christopher Nkunku scored.
Yeah, it's good for him.
Are you still a believer? Are you still hanging on to that thread of hope to stop Bayern?
I was hoping because Hoffenheim were a bit the boogie team of Bayern. I thought, okay, they might draw or they might even beat them again like they did in the 2 previous games, and then Leipzig win, and then you go back to 4 points gap, and it's much closer, and there's a bit of tension, and yeah, it didn't happen. But it was good for them to win. By the way, Bayer Leverkusen fans, we've told you for many, many years now about Peter Bosch, so please don't be surprised. But I think I'm afraid I think this one is gone for Leipzig. It's a real shame.
Hey, but he's got some new players though, right?
Yeah, but
Fosu Mensah, Demarai Gray on the way.
Demarai Gray on the way, but I still don't think Peter Bosch has the answers, to be fair. But hey, you never know. Borussia Dortmund snapped a streak of 3 games without a win by beating Augsburg 3-1. But Gab, it was looking pretty bleak at some point, right? Yeah.
So first of all, Augsburg are an absolute pain in the backside to play against.
They're hard to play against.
They go out there. You got all those kids. You're coming from 1 point of a possible 9.
Yeah.
You go a goal down. Oh, penalty. Up steps Erling Haaland. Bish-bash Bosch. Boom. Off the crossbar. And then you're thinking, you got to think your heart's going to sink. And they got a reaction.
They played well.
Thomas Delaney, friend of the show, at least former guest on the show, scored straight away, gets them back on track. There's still flaws in here, but I think it was really big that they got the reaction on the pitch. I thought they deserved to win. Yeah. Sancho scored and also played well, which I think they need. There's still 101 issues with this team. I'm not convinced of they might not qualify for the Champions League, but they show there's a reaction. This shows they're not giving up the ghost at the end of January. And again, that I think is important.
Yeah.
5 wins in a row in all competitions for Sevilla, who beat Eibar 2-0. Jules, they're a single point behind Barcelona and Real Madrid, and Papu Gomez hasn't even stepped on the pitch to do his Papu dance.
Not yet, although we saw him doing it in initiation, song, the thing you do when you
We
sign
stood
for
on
a
the
new
chair,
club,
yes.
on the chair doing the papu dance. If you don't know what it is, it's almost like the floss. Is that the floss dance or something like that? Basically, they copied Papu's dance.
They copied Papu. It's the Papu dance.
It's the Papu dance. And yeah, they were good again, as we've been saying. They're on an incredible run. Well done to them. I just think those games that they drop there and there against Granada and teams like that come back to haunt them.
You know what? They raise their levels in the head-to-heads. They're there.
Yeah. Roma beat Verona 3-1, and despite all the negativity, they're still third in the table. But reports suggest that Fonseca won't play Edin Dzeko again until he apologises for his teammate Gab. Is Fonseca just being a bit stubborn there? Should he just let go and bring him back in?
All right. So first of all, we should build a freaking monument to Fonseca in Rome. No, just
He's doing a great job.
Quick recap of all the crap that they had to deal with.
Yeah.
They lose their best player to injury for the season.
Yeah.
There's an ownership change in the summer. The club is a zoo under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
Now it's a whole freaking safari park. His director of football, Thiago Pinto, comes just basically came in like a couple weeks ago. The guy who was director of football before, who I think technically might still be director of football, Morgan Sancti, suffers a serious car accident. Fortunately, he's better now. They have some Muppet who's got to fill in the registration cards for the players, and he fills it in incorrectly, so they're docked points. They have another Muppet, a different Muppet, somebody named Gombar, who goes and they screw everything up. They try to make 6 substitutions in a Coppa Italia game.
That's right.
They get their rear ends handed to them in the derby by Lazio. And that, by the way, is where the whole Edin Dzeko thing comes out.
Yeah.
There are even reports that they came to blows or came close to. Tell you what, Paulo Fonseca is a big, Dzeko's obviously a giant.
Yeah,
Paulo Fonseca is a big, strong man, former
that
nasty center back.
That'd be a pretty good fight.
And look, and throughout this all, Fonseca has been a gentleman. He's played great football. They're third in the table. That is unbelievable. So, bottom line is, people are saying Fonseca has said, Dzeko needs to apologize to the teammates. And if he does that, we'll take him back. He was asked that question directly on TV last night, and he kind of studiously avoided it. I hope that Dzeko is a grown-up and apologizes, not necessarily to Fonseca. You don't turn into humiliation, but you apologize to your teammates. Because clearly,
they need him, right?
Whatever happens,
they can't do with Borja Majoral the whole rest of the season.
No, when you get any team you're in, no matter who's right or wrong, when the situation gets that bad that you have to be left out of the game, clearly there is some level of fault of you as a player. A manager cannot be challenged that way. So it would be unacceptable, I think, for Fonseca to allow Dzeko back to apologize to his teammates at least, not necessarily to Fonseca directly, but to the teammates for the situation. Yeah. So hopefully, Dzeko's a smart guy. Hopefully, that's where we're going with this. Yeah. Palmeiras have won the Copa Libertadores, beating Santos 1-0. Jules, sort of the game we all expected, no?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was so cagey. I don't think it was great publicity for South American football, but again, this is a final. They never really the most spectacular games. Breno won it really late. It was a big chaos, but Palmeiras, well done.
I love Felipe Melo coming on in the 17th minute of injury time. The coach getting sent off and then asking for VAR. They're arguing over loose
It was
ball.
a big chaos, but I'm not sure Palmeiras had the best team in there. But credit to them, they won it. And after Flamengo is 2 Brazilian teams in a row, so good for them. We will see them in the Club World Cup.
Well, Palmeiras also Brazilian, of course, so it would have been.
Yeah, two Brazilian teams in a row. That's what I'm saying. After Flamengo.
Right.
Yeah,
gotcha,
so it would have been Santos as well, but it shows you the domination maybe of Brazilian football on South America. Somebody named Jizz Hornkamp scores 4 goals in 34 minutes for Den Bosch in Dutch second division. I'm assuming that's why we're talking about him, right, Gab?
Yes, and because his name is Jizz Hornkamp, and
name.
our very puerile producer thinks it's a very, very funny name.
I see.
I did check. It's a bit of a good story, this guy, because he was first of all, he hadn't scored in like 4 months. Second of all, he's still young. He's 22. He used to be at Ajax, and he used to be a right back, and then he decided he wasn't very good at right back, so he says, I'm going to go play center forward. Nice. These are the funny things. But yeah, long story short, we're mentioning him because his name is literally Jizz Hornkamp.
Fair enough.
Right, that brings us to an end. Apologies for the silliness at the end. Jules, we have a full slate of Premier League games. We have Coppa Italia, plenty of stuff going up. The party never stops. So should we come back on Thursday to do this again?
Thursday it is.
All right, man. Till then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.